Wildflower. Today I'm going to have a special treat for you. We are going to bake something. So I have some lemons and I've been thinking about what I want to do with them. And then I have some blueberries also. So I'm gonna do some lemon blueberry cupcakes for you today. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna get our cake started. Now I'm going to use a box mix. My favorite is the Krusteaz brand. I like the yellow cake mix, and then I like to change up the icing and everything that goes in it. So it's sort of just like a helper in the kitchen when you're baking. It already has everything measured out for you, and then I just add different flavors to make the different kinds of cupcakes that we like. Whatever cake mix you have, you can use, or if you want to make yours from scratch, you can go ahead and do that as well. So I have my lemon, I have my zester, and I'm just gonna put a little bowl underneath of it and then zest the lemon here. And you just wanna get the yellow part. You don't wanna get the white pith in there because it can be really bitter. We're gonna use the lemon for lemon juice to go into our cake batter. We're also gonna save some of the lemon zest to go on top of our cupcakes for garnish. It calls for 2.5 cups of water, so I have my water here, but I only have 2 cups in there, and then I'm going to use some fresh lemon juice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my strainer, put it over my measuring cup, and then squeeze some lemon juice in there. So that is the juice of 2 lemons, and that gave me 2.5 cups between the water and the lemon juice. I'm gonna put them in my bowl. Okay, and then my mix calls for eggs, so I'm gonna put my eggs in. Now I have farm fresh eggs from our chickens, which I love to bake with them. So I'm gonna add those in here. It calls for 4. Okay, and then I'm gonna add in my oil, 1/2 cup of oil. So if you don't have a mixer at home, you can just whisk this by hand. In fact, the cake batters are better if you whisk them by hand because you don't want to over mix them. So you can see it's completely mixed in, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in my dry ingredients. And I'm just going to gently mix this. And I'm only gonna mix it until it comes together. Now there's still gonna be lumps in here, and that's totally fine. They will cook out, but you don't wanna over mix it because that's when your cake or your cupcakes become dense. So you wanna just make sure to mix it until it comes together. That's it. Very simple, very easy. I love the box mix. This is the basic one right here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add in some lemon zest for more flavor along with our lemon juice. I'm gonna save some for the garnish that we talked about. Mix that up. And then I'm gonna add in some blueberries. So for our blueberries, I have a little bit of flour in the bottom of the bowl here. And I'm gonna toss in our blueberries. Just because they're frozen and they tend to bleed blueberries, and so by tossing them in the flour, what I'm doing is eliminating a lot of that bleeding that will take place. So now that these have been tossed in flour, I'm going to toss them into our cupcake mix. Make sure to shake off the excess because you don't want to ruin the consistency of your cake. Then I'm just going to mix it up, just folding them in. See there's no bleeding into our mix. Perfect. We're ready to fill our cupcakes. So I have a scoop here. This is a 1/2 cup, and so I'm just gonna use the scoop to help me fill my cupcake. I just want it to be filled about 3/4 of the way up. I'm gonna put these in the oven. I have a convection oven, so I'm gonna put them at 300 degrees. Just follow the directions on your box mix or your cake recipe. So mine are gonna go in for 12 to 15 minutes, and then in the meantime, we're gonna make our buttercream. So one thing I wanted to mention was that you could do cupcakes with this recipe, or you could do a layered cake. So the other day, I made a layered cake with this recipe and it turned out wonderful. So it was a 3-layer cake. I took a 9-inch round pan, I greased it up, and I baked the cake. It took about 30 minutes and I had a few of them, so I did 3 different layers, and then I built a cake and made it with the same icing, the same recipe, but as a cake, and it turned out delicious. I'll show you a picture. I even put some candied lemon on the top, so you could use this recipe for cupcakes or a cake depending on what you want. Now for the buttercream. This is the best part. You can easily make this vegan buttercream by using a vegan butter instead of cow's milk butter, but today we're gonna do the old-fashioned buttercream. So I'm gonna start with a 1/2 cup of butter. So that's just 1 stick of butter. And the thing about the butter is you wanna make sure that you have it at room temperature and that it's been at room temperature for a while. That's gonna be really important when it comes to making buttercream. So I'm gonna get my mixer going with my butter in there and start creaming it. Now I'm gonna add another stick of butter in there. So total, we're gonna have 1 cup of butter. My vanilla, so I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And I'm going to beat that right in with my butter. Okay, so my vanilla is in with my butter, and now I'm going to start adding the powdered sugar. So for 1 cup of butter, I'm going to be using about 4 cups of powdered sugar. And I'm gonna beat those in one at a time. Cookies, and the first thing you do with the cookies is you mix the butter and the sugar together and you let those come together for a little while before you add anything else in. It's similar to that method. I'm going to scrape the sides of my bowl down. And then I'm just going to whip it. Looks really good. So now that I've scraped the side of my bowl down, I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. And then mix it up. If you feel like you want a thinner consistency, you can go ahead and add some more cream. So right now I'm gonna add probably 1 more tablespoon of cream. And we'll see how that looks. Perfect. And that is just the traditional American buttercream. So for us today, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use some fresh lemon zest in my buttercream. Lemon juice has a lot of good flavor also, but the real flavor is in the lemon zest, and we're gonna use that in our buttercream today. The lemon juice can kind of curdle the butter, so we don't want to use that in our buttercream. So we're just going to go ahead and throw in some lemon zest. Okay, my buttercream is perfect. Let's take a look. Yum. So in order to get our buttercream ready, I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag. So normally, if I was at the cafe, I would have a piping bag with a piping tip in order to make a real beautiful cupcake. But I'm at home, I'm quarantined, and I don't have that here. So I'm gonna use the next best thing, which is just a Ziploc bag. So I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna put it inside just a measuring cup. Anything that you have, you can put it inside. Then I'm just gonna put my buttercream in it. Make a faux piping bag. Look at that buttercream. Delicious. Perfectly smooth, the consistency is just awesome. Again, the most important thing when you're making an American buttercream is you just want to make sure that your butter is at room temperature. That's really the secret. If your butter is too cold, the buttercream will break. If your butter is too hot, the buttercream will break as well. You'll know it's broken when you see kind of like grainy looking. There are ways to fix buttercream if you do break it. For instance, if the butter's too cold, you can warm it up. And then if the butter's too hot, you can put it in the refrigerator and wait until it cools down and then remix it again. But very simple, just start with room temperature buttercream and then you don't have to worry about it. So I have my buttercream ready now. Get all the air out of it, and then I just kind of work it all the way down to that one corner, so when it comes to piping, I'm ready to go. Easy, gallon Ziploc bag. I always make my buttercream while the cupcakes are in the oven. That way when they come out of the oven and they're nice and cool, the buttercream will be ready to put the icing on top. Our timer just went off. It's time to go get our cupcakes. Time to let them cool. They've cooled down and they are cool enough to go ahead and assemble them and get our decorations on them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them out of the pan. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention about these cupcakes is that you could do it with any flavor. So again, we're quarantined. You could do it with cranberries, orange juice, and orange zest if you want. Really just use whatever you have available. I just happen to have an excess of blueberries and lemons, so I thought, why not? It's a perfect combination. So I have my cupcakes. I have my beautiful buttercream icing that we made. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the tip of this and I'm gonna use scissors. And I'm just gonna cut the tip of the bag off with the scissors. And then I'm just gonna go around in a circle, pushing with my top hand and then kind of guiding with my other hand. Around in a circle. There we go. Not too bad, huh? So I'm just gonna do the rest of these. Garnishes on. So I have fresh blueberries for the top. So remember, in the cake batter, we used frozen blueberries that we tossed in a little bit of flour. Now we're going to use fresh blueberries for the topping. So we have 3 blueberries on top. Then we're going to put some fresh lemon zest. And voila, our cupcakes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them on this beautiful plate that I have here. Look at that, doesn't that look delicious? So it's a wonderful treat. Like I said, you can use whatever you have available to you. This is just an idea. You can make your cake from scratch. You can use a box, just something fun that I thought that you would enjoy during this quarantine. It's good to have a little nice, sweet snack. We have to try it. Perfect. So I hope you'll join me next time for another video. In the meantime, stay home, stay safe, and stay well.